Okay. Now, may we have order, please? Lori, do we have a quorum? Lori, you have to unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Lori. May I have a motion to accept the minutes from August?
So moved.
Seconded? Seconded?
Second.
Any discussion? Pat, I think this is your time. Can't hear you, Pat.
Not yet. It's in my report. When I get to my report, that's how this is going to be done.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do it when we were accepting the minutes. Okay.
No.
All right. Then I shall give in, well, let's see. All in favor say aye to the minutes.
Aye. Aye.
All against? Okay, the ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. I will give my president's report. Okay. Good morning, fellow residents. The Resident Council again comes to you today via Zoom and broadcasted on Channel 8 thanks to Kimberly Cox. The nominating committee has been formed to oversee the nomination process of next year's additions to Resident Council. Jan Borden has agreed to be chair. She brings considerable experience to this endeavor, as outgoing Resident Council members John Ames and Barry Mima will also serve on the committee. From the residents at large, I have appointed John Guthrie and Susan Klein, both of whom have agreed to serve. I am pleased with the caliber of members who have agreed to assume this responsibility to our community. The Axe and Heron Point preliminary 2021 budget meeting was held on August 18, 2020. Officers of the Resident Council, resident members of the Heron Point Board, that's Evelyn Huckster and Jack Springer, and the chair of the Finance Committee were invited to attend. A summary of that meeting is included in the packet of today's Resident Council meeting. In the summary, it shows the questions that we asked Axe Corporate and their responses. Yes, Lori?
I'm getting a whole lot of talking in the background and I cannot understand what's being said.
You have your TV on, Doc? No?
You still hear something? I don't hear anything.
Who has not muted their individual picture?
Jack Stinger, you need to mute yourself.
And Mackie and Kim Cox here. Kim Cox might be Kim's error because she didn't mute yet either. So Mackie,
Kimberly?
I can't mute.
She can't mute.
We can't mute. You would not be able to hear the meeting.
oh, okay.
Okay, I got Jack. And I got Mackie. Let's see. And I got Stacy. That's everybody. You hear anything now? Just shake your head. Lori. Okay, let's move on. Beginning this month, Earl McGimsey will chair a bylaws review committee. He has appointed Lori Lawson, Lyle Feisel, and Sandy Durfee to assist him in this annual effort. I want to publicly congratulate Karen Piomelli for the improvement to both entree salads and side salads over the last 30 days. We have received positive comments from residents about more consistent freshness of the salads. Keep up the good work, Karen and culinary staff. We, the resident council, wish you all well, and we welcome your continued suggestions.
Blanca, what's happening?
I somehow am not in the meeting right now. Can you hear me? No.
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm not sure why this happened.
What?
Just a moment.
Oh, wait. You can hear, but not see.
I can see.
Okay. Blanca, my wife said that she can see it here on Channel 8.
Join me here.
Blanca, this is Jack Fancher. Barbara said that she can see and hear the meeting on Channel 8.
Okay. I am trying to get back in.
I can see and hear you, Blanca.
Blanca, you are in as far as all of us. We can hear you.
All right. I'll just finish this up then. We, the resident council, wish you all well, and we welcome your continued suggestions to improve our lives at Heron Point. Please continue to wear masks and maintain social distancing for the safety of all. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have the treasurer's report. Pat Clark.
In my report last month, I stated that as of July 31st, 119 checks were received for a total of $12,865. The success of this appeal has ensured that standing committees and interest groups will be able to continue their activities even though there will be no yard sales this year. To me, yard sales, which are the major source of income, are those that have been held twice a year and are open to the public. There was not one in May, and there will not be one in October. On the other hand, barn shop sales are those which have been traditionally held on the first Friday of each month and are open to residents and staff only. Because of the pandemic, these sales have been canceled since March. I'm happy to report that the first of these sales in months will be held this afternoon from 2 to 4. Only 3 persons will be allowed to shop per 15 minutes, and you must sign up in advance. It is anticipated that these Friday sales will continue as long as shoppers follow health and safety guidelines. While not providing enough income to support standing committees and interest group sales for a year, they will certainly be very helpful. The past month has been spent preparing documents for the annual budget requests and the Employee Appreciation Fund appeal. A memo explaining the budget process will be sent to all standing committee and interest group chairs on September 10th. The request must be submitted by October 15th so that they can be presented to the resident council at the November 6th meeting. EAF letters with return envelopes will be placed in the cubbies on September 15th. The deadline for returning your voluntary contributions or donations is November 1st, so that the calculations for distribution can be completed in a timely manner. The amount that each employee receives is based upon the total hours worked, and not at all based on job status or rank. As you can see from the above information, this is going to be a busy time, and I'm still in need of an assistant treasurer to help with the performing the duties of the office. Serving as treasurer has given me an opportunity to meet many of the residents and employees and to better understand the organizational structure. Are there any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
We go on
Yes.
with the meeting? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Pat. Garrett, do you have your executive report?
Yes, good morning, everybody. So you have the report. I'm sorry, hold on one second. Okay, sorry. You have a report. You can see our occupancy for independent living is a little bit 1% below budgeted, but we have a number of new admissions coming in the fall. So we think we're going to make our budget, which I think it was 18 for the year. Again, as always, thank you all for everything you're doing, your understanding and support as we go through this COVID crisis. As Blanca just said, we can't emphasize enough: mask, nose covered, hand washing, social distance. It just makes a huge difference. We tell this to the staff all the time too, and I feel like a cop. I walk around all day really just correcting people most of the time, and it gets me nuts because, I shouldn't be having to do that. Everybody should know by now, but yet there's still issues. But anyway, thank you for understanding and patience in this now 6 months pandemic we've been going through, and more to come. You saw in the Wednesday letter we had one positive employee who will be back again next week. We think this happened from outside the campus at their home or wherever they went because we didn't get more cases here. The testing that we do every week for WBC and OBT resident staff are coming in now, and they've been negative. So far, so good. The roof project, you can see the roof project is going on. It's going well. They should be done in a couple of weeks. I apologize for the inconveniences that it's caused to those people in the main building with noise and things dropping down. If there's any damage in your flower garden or something like that, please just let myself or Bob Jackson know. At the same time, Oak Ridge Terrace staff nursing station and activity room is going well. Nobody actually don't get to see that project till it's done because they have the wall there, but that's going very well. And as always, continue to watch Channel 8. As I said a couple weeks ago, please just turn on for even a minute, a couple times a day to see if there's any scroll at the bottom that talks about a change in our chat or some kind of thing going on. Short of a reverse 911, that's our best mechanism for letting you know what's going on. You saw that Kim has now worked out a way to tape the chats again. And it didn't come on at 2 o'clock. Did it come on 9:30 last night? Does anybody know? Did the chat come on 9:30 last night? Nobody
Yes,
knows?
it did.
It did. Good. Great. So it's going to be on again, I think, next week, right, Kim?
Yes, that is correct. It's listed in your
Yep.
weekly word.
You'll have, being a weekly word, okay. And we have had problems with Channel 8. Kim has been working with IT on that, and that's why we got messed up in the call yesterday, that we had periods of no sound, no voice, and then it came back on again. But she did tape it, so you should get pretty much the whole thing on the repeat showing. Those are the main issues for Heron Point. Again, thank you for everyone for your patience and understanding, and thank you for what you're doing as a council to help all the 300 residents at Heron Point.
Thank you, Garrett. I had to unmute myself. Okay, Diana Gilligan, you have your report to give?
I do. Okay, so let me give you my report. We'll start with Willowbrook Court. Our census currently is 27. I have done a call bell audit for the month of August. We're a little higher than what I prefer, but it's understandable considering we were on quarantine on that unit, so everyone was behind closed doors and having to come in and out of the rooms more often. So the call bell audit was 8 minutes and 51 seconds. We'll be monitoring that closely to make sure that that goes back down to where it should be. I like it between 5 and 7 minutes for a call bell to be responded to. Willowbrook Court is currently in pre-phase 1 opening since we had a positive a couple of weeks ago and then had a follow-up positive the week after, which were both employees. No residents at this time have had a positive. We've had 3 weeks of testing in a row, and all of them are negative. We even got the results back from this week. So we are still on isolation and on that unit, and we will be for about a week or so, and then after that we'll be able to resume our outside visitations. Currently, because CMS has not changed this, we're still on a 4-star rating. For Oak Ridge Terrace, their census currently is 29. New things happening in Willowbrook. All the residents and staff on Willowbrook Court have been tested monthly for COVID, and we are still doing weekly testing for the employees. OBT is currently in phase 2. Oak Ridge Terrace, is currently in phase 2. That's per the Kent County Health Department, while WBC is still in pre-phase 1. That'll take a minute for us to go through and get everybody cleared again, and then that will be able to go back to Kent County and ask for us to go back to phase 1 and then to go phase 2. And it's a 14-day period between the two. Ashley and Lorelei have been doing video calls. Their numbers are extremely high. 64 video calls with families and residents for the month of August, and Ashley has done 22 telehealth calls for the month of August also. We are doing outside visits for OBT residents currently at this time. And that is my report.
Very good. Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Stacy, would you like to give us your healthcare report? Oh, hold on. Stacy, you're muted.
Okay, I just unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So first I'd like to talk about the resident council report for Oak Ridge. For the first time, they met in a group this month. First time since March. That's pretty exciting. Unfortunately, I was going to be there by FaceTime, and we couldn't make it work. So we'll keep working on that. The notes from Lorelei reflect that some residents had a few dietary concerns, which Lulu addressed right away. And then one resident has been listening to Garrett, and she reiterated the importance of both residents and staff wearing masks in the common areas. Willowbrook continues to have one-on-one meetings with staff in place of a group meeting. Per Lorelei's notes, there were some concerns about occasionally not having enough GNAs. And when Diana and I spoke, she talked about the fact that they were using nurses when it was necessary in place of GNAs. So they're keeping up their staffing just fine. There were some concerns about lost laundry items, and those are being tracked as quickly as possible. So for the Healthcare Committee, Healthcare Communications Committee, we have not met since March, and during that, between March and now, several people have rotated off the committee, including Sandy, who's been leading it for a couple of years. So we're going to start things up again this month, and we have some new members on the committee, and I'll be reporting more about that next month at this committee. Some things that have come up to me personally, some areas of concern from people. The podiatrist residents, podiatrist visits, he hasn't been there for a while, and that's because he hasn't had a COVID test. So Heron Point has stepped up to that and offered to give him a COVID test so that he can start visiting residents again. We hope he'll be back on board soon. There also was a concern about parcel or mail delivery to both units. And so I talked to several people and found that the regular mail is delivered to both units between 2 and 3 in the afternoon on a cart. Any items brought to the desk for residents in those units will be put on that cart and sent up at this time. So that's between 2 and 3. If any perishable things are brought to the desk for residents, they're sent up as soon as possible. If staff from either of the units passes the front desk at any other times of the day, they may be given items to bring up with them. Once the card is taken to the units, the mail or the items are picked up at the nurse's station or the staff brings them to the residence room. The other issue that came up had to do with call bells, and I think Diana addressed that in her report. That's all I have.
Very good, Stacy. Thank you. You want to mute yourself now?
Yes.
Yes, Lindsay?
Stacy, could you please make copies of your report for Lori
I will.
so that she'll have them for the minutes, and then also one for me?
Okay. And I don't have the minutes from the OBT or WBC meetings yet. These were just the notes from Lorelei. So as soon as I get those minutes, I'll put them with and send them to you.
Actually,
Thank you very much.
your notes are more important, Stacy. So, I think we would be all right.
Okay.
Yes, Lori?
Stacy, when you get the healthcare communications committee fully routed off and coming back on and all that, will you send me a list, please, of any officers and all the new names and who's off?
Okay. We'll do that.
Okay, anything else for Stacy?
Copy me with the new list, please, as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Is there any unfinished business? No. Okay, new business. Earl McGinsey, would you like to address that in Golden Slips or You Talk We Listen, please?
Okay, there are two concerns that came up in the Golden Slips You Talk We Listen. The first concerns the quarantine trash receptacles. Some concern was expressed that they are left out in the hallways in the river house. The policy is that when you are on quarantine and you receive one of those receptacles, you are supposed to keep the receptacle in your apartment. And when it is full and needs to be emptied, you set it outside your door and housekeeping will empty it. So we'll remind housekeeping to remind you to do that when they deliver it. And then we need to remember to do that as we are in quarantine. The second issue that came up concerns information about ACT's employee salaries. There was a question asked about whether they are available to review. There is a Form 990, which is an IRS form, and in that form, nonprofit organizations such as ACT's are required to state the salaries of key personnel. So if you would like to look at that, you can go, I found it by just Googling ACT's Form 990. It's a long, involved IRS form, but towards the end of it, you would find the information that you want. With respect to employees at Heron Point, the director, Garrett, and the nursing director, Diane, are employees of ACT. All other employees are actually employees of Heron Point. The information with respect to individual salaries is not public to protect the privacy of the employees, but Garrett has informed me that the average of those employees' income is slightly more, would it be the equivalent of slightly more than $18 an hour? So that's the answer to the question as to whether or not information about employee income is available. Those were the two issues in Golden Slips, and there haven't been really any other issues for Golden Slips raised in the last month.
I offer a slight correction according to information that I have been given, and Garrett can correct me if I'm incorrect. Also, Karen and Teresa, who is the director of nursing, are also employees of ACTS, not of Heron Point. Is that correct, Garrett? Yes, he's gone.
Hold on, no, they get bonuses, that's why they're not included on your benevolence every year, but they're not ACTS employees, they're Heron Point employees. Just Diana and myself.
Thank you. I appreciate getting that clarified for myself. Okay.
Okay, then do I have a motion to adjourn?
You're gonna say anything about buildings and grounds?
And also, you were going to have Pat say something about elections.
Yes.
Oh,
Do
now?
that.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Pat?
Okay. My topic is the November voting procedures. And I will explain why I've got to be the lucky person to do this presentation in that I had a problem, which I will describe, and went to the Board of Elections and got some answers. So I have a report that I will read to you and with some, hopefully, helpful information. In order to obtain a mail-in ballot, you must first be a registered voter. Then you must complete an application requesting the ballot. This is something new this year that has not been the case in the past. The application can be obtained by going online, by going to the Maryland State Board of Elections, and then click on Voter Services, then on Request a Ballot. You can complete the application online, which I don't recommend based on my recent experience. You can also print the form, complete it, and return it to the Kent County Board of Elections by mail or hand deliver it to 135 Dixon Drive in Chestertown. And I'm happy to report after a conversation this morning with Ashley that there are blank copies of the application at the front desk. So if I were you, that's where I would go, is to get this and then complete the application, which must be received by October 20th in order to receive a ballot. Now, again, all of this is for people who want to have a mail-in or absentee ballot. They're basically the same thing. So there are other options available to you also, which I will talk about in a minute. It appears, this is why I would not suggest completing it online, because I know people have tried to do this and they have run into a problem. That requesting an application for a mail-in ballot online really does complicate everything, including your mailing address. Based on my conversation with the Board of Elections, I would recommend that Heron Point residents call their number 410-778-0038, or physically go to the office. And why I said that was before I knew we were going to have blank copies at the front desk, okay? But I wouldn't even go to their office. I wouldn't call them. Just walk right down to the front desk and get your application. But what happened to me is if I tried to complete it online and found out after a phone call that I had to change my address to 454 Heron Point. That is what I did, and we received our new voter registration. Then we received new voter registration cards with that as our address. Now we have to complete a voter update form to correct our address back to 454 Hebert Court. I asked if someone from the Board of Elections could come to Heron Point to explain the process for the 2020 election and register people to vote, as they have done in the past. But they are aware of the restrictions on outsiders entering And the person I talked with has talked with Ashley, and at this point, this is not an option. And Ashley and Kimberly are both available to help people that need help in completing the form and also in registering to vote if you have not already done so. So everyone who submits an application for a mail-in ballot will receive one 30 to 45 days prior to Election Day. But also, please note that you can vote in person, and there's going to be early voting at the library, and that will be available for 8 days straight. And the information about how and where to vote is available in this week's Weekly Word. So I hope this information helps to clarify the procedures we need to follow to ensure that we can vote, which I'm sure all of us wish to do. Are there 100 questions? Or one?
No questions. That was very good. The main message is go to the front desk.
You got it, but I didn't know that till this morning.
Okay.
Should I do that 2 weeks
That's
ago?
very helpful. Thank you so much, Pat.
Okay.
All right. So, anything else? Are we ready to adjourn? All right. Then may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. Seconded. Somebody has to say seconded.
Okay. I moved, but if you, it depends on which second.
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. We're having trouble with our mutes and unmutes. Okay. All right, thank you. We are adjourned. Now we will take questions from the residents at large, if we have any. Kimberly,
No, ma'am, no questions.
should we wait a few more minutes or shall we just go with it?
I would give it a minute.
While we're waiting, just to comment, just so you know, Kim is working on Channel 8, but we may have some issues for the next week until she gets all the equipment she needs to have it all set up correctly. So don't be shocked if there's some outages on Channel 8 or something's supposed to be on, it's not on at the right time. We apologize for that, but we are working on it. I told Kim Cox to do whatever it takes, including working all weekend to make sure it's set for you guys. She'll be here all weekend. You can bring her a sandwich if you want. That would be nice.
What a great boss.
Garrett,
Yeah.
is there going to be new equipment that's going to replace what's there?
Kim? I think so, but Kim?
It is. It's what happens when we go on live feeds. Channel 8 itself is fine. It's when we have to switch over to a live feed. It's called a modulator box, and it has been with us for about 15 years, so it's kind of served its time, and it's fading away. So we have to order one through Touchtown, which we have, and right now we've kind of hopeful that it's working. We tried to unplug and replug, and Atlantic Broadband came in, was very helpful in helping us just put a patchwork on it until we get this new equipment from Touchtown.
Very good. I'm glad we're working on that. Okay, any questions, Kimberly?
No questions, but it is someone's birthday today. Garrett Falcone's birthday is today.
Oh, is it?
It is,
Happy
it is.
birthday, Garrett.
Well, it's supposed to be a secret. Now Kim let the cat. Now you got to work both weekends.
That's exactly right. That's
I
payback.
think we should all unmute and sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, and the staff was not as good. I'm hoping the residents are much better at singing happy birthday to Garrett than we were.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Garrett. Happy birthday to you. Well, you get the idea, right?
Thank you all. Thank you all. I have tears strolling down my cheeks. Look at this.
Yes, yes.
Okay, everybody, that's it. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.